This is a guide for how to use the chord sheet effectively for our online orchestra project. So to start with, make sure you've got your part open and ready. I play the flute, so this is the right part for me. If you're not sure which part, check with your teacher and they'll be able to advise you. Today, I'm going to be focusing particularly on section C of this piece. So I'm looking at these two lines just here. So you'll notice that I've got a couple of notes written out and also the names of some letters above, sometimes with a little M afterwards, sometimes a letter on its own. So basic guide to chords. If it's a letter on its own, like here, F, we assume it's major. So this means that the F major fits in for these two bars. Next, we have D, M. Because there's a little M here, that means minor. So that means D minor is the chord that will fit in the next two bars. Back to F major for these two. Back to D minor here. B flat, there's no M, so I assume major for this bar, and that continues on. And then C, again, major for these two bars. So you might already know what notes are in that chord. If you're not sure though, open up the chord chart. Again, make sure it's the correct one for your instrument, so it's got all the ones you'll need included. So as I mentioned before, we started with F major. So here, I've actually got all the notes from F major spelled out for me. So F, A and C, this is what the chord would look like written out fully. If you want to be a little bit more adventurous, you could explore some other notes from the F major scale. That's what's written out here. So if I go back now to my part, instead of just playing an F for 8 beats here, maybe instead I could explore a pattern using notes from the chord, or you might know that as the arpeggio as well, or notes from the scale. And I know that they'll sound good in this section. That's the reason why we've put these letter labels on, to give you a little guide of what will definitely fit well. D minor, I could do the same. So I just need to scroll down until I find it. D minor, I'm looking at this one. So again, I've got notes from the chord, or I've got the scale that I could use as well. Back to the part, the next new chord is B flat major. So I go back to here it is, and I can check the notes. Same for C major, I can check those as well. There they are, C, E and G, and there's the scale too. If you want to play it safe, like I say, choose notes from the chord because they know that they will fit in really nicely with those other notes. You can deliberately choose notes not belonging to the chord as well. Be tasteful in how you do that. Make sure you're playing with the backing track and listening to how it sounds so that you're actually choosing them for a reason rather than just out of randomness.